So basically, this type of activity goes on a daily basis. Just watch what you're getting in the email. This next slide, we'll talk about some of this here. This is for some reason, when I found this video, it was really loud, so I apologize. They'll turn it down up there. But phony Craigslist ads, you know, I use Craigslist. Anybody use Craigslist? Okay, very popular, and I think they made a movie about it too, The Craigslist Killer or something like that, and you hear stories about so-and-so that goes and to buy something on Craigslist and he gets shot or whatever. I think that was a recent news thing. And it's, you know what, it's sort of like the red light district of eBay. That's the way I kind of like to look at it. It's useful and it has a purpose and I like it. I actually surf it all the time. You know, if I was looking for a car or microwave or whatever you're looking for, you know, you can really find it there. But the scams that are out there are real legitimate. And eBay and other trading sites they're vetted and they have a process for you to go through to get your account. You know, they have a ratings system and verification system. The chances of somebody, you know, coming to your house, you know, to look at the car you want and then rob you blind the next day is probably not as good as it would be if you were doing it openly on Craigslist. Not that Craigslist is bad, I'm not saying that at all. But because it's free, they don't charge for posting fees, they don't charge for selling fees, they don't charge for anything. So naturally, when it's free, you take your own risk, okay? Let's see, phony emails reassuring you to log into a website to verify your login credentials. We're not doing that. You know, don't go to, if they say, hey, we've lost your password, this is US Bank or this is so-and-so bank, we've lost your password, we need you to verify it. They will never ask you that, okay? No legitimate company will ever ask you to give your privacy data or verify anything like that over an email. They just won't do it. No matter how authentic and real the email looks, don't do it. Let's see, spoofed or faked websites, again, no matter how real it looks. Dating services, I don't think that's a big deal, but if you're going to get out on those dating websites and things like that, use one that's reputable. Don't use Bud's dating service. You know, I don't want to say that because I'll get sued. Maybe Bud's is a real dating service, but you get my point. Chatting online with individuals you don't know and revealing privacy information. This is the social networking thing, guys, all over again. It's just rehashed and put in a different spoon to feed you with. It's the same thing. If you talk to somebody online and you know, just because you may feel comfortable with them or you share a common experience or something, maybe it's hey, you know, I had this situation happen to me too, and I understand you feel this camaraderie and this bond, and now you're going to start sharing information. Be careful. Just be very careful. Online counterfeit fraud, boy, I'll tell you, this happens a lot. I think we work probably 10, 15 cases, you know, in this county a month about this. The Nigerian chain letter scams, you know, hey, this is so-and-so from wherever, and I've got $8 million that you've been selected randomly out of the rest of America to get this check, and okay, all right, go down to the corner and buy a lottery ticket because you got a better chance of winning that. But what happens, and this is how that works, they'll string you along and they'll find somebody, hey, you know, P.T. Barnum said a sucker was born every minute, right? I mean, it was one of his famous quotes. And that's true here in America. I mean, there's people that are out there and they prey on these people to fall for it. And all it takes is one. They'll get you to send some information, maybe your address. Say, hey, I'm going to send you a check. It's a certified cashier's check or a money order. I'm stuck I'm in between travel. I'm stuck in another country. I need you to wire me the money so I can get out of the country. It's corrupt. I got to pay off somebody. I got to buy a visa. I got to do whatever. So all of a sudden, FedEx or UPS, or they won't do it through the U.S. mail. They're too afraid of them. But they'll send it through a third-party courier, and you'll get a thing in the mail, and it'll have a counterfeit check in there, or basically a money order or a certified cashier's check. And you take it to your bank and you deposit it or cash it. Now, I have to confess the banks are getting better about looking at these and saying, now you know, Mrs. Stewart, this probably isn't real. Now, it's not their business to turn business down at the counter and to educate you about how to be smart, but they have due diligence to say to you, it doesn't look right, but if it's a document, an instrument, they're going to deposit it and they're going to put a hold on it. Now, if it's a good counterfeit, it'll get through the hold. And that means the money gets put in her account. And the guy will say something like, look, it's $10,000, so keep $2,000 for yourself and wire the other $8,000 to this account over here in Nigeria, or wherever it is they're going to do it. Okay, so she does. Now all of a sudden, this nice lady who otherwise would probably not even blown a stop sign in her whole life has now committed 2 felony frauds, felonies. She's criminal possession of a forged instrument, okay, and she's committed a wire fraud, basically, by wiring that money out, all right? So, I mean, and who are we going to go after? We have no reciprocal agreement with other countries that don't enforce it. We're going to go after her. That's all we got. So you have to watch out for that. Don't accept gifts, don't accept money. Anybody sends you anything, just decline it at the door. Look, if you didn't take your wallet out of your pocket and buy it, probably don't need it. It's probably bad news. Stay away from it. Okay, let's roll that video real quick.
Phishing! Phishing is on the rise. Not that kind of phishing. Phishing is when a bad guy creates a fake website to trick you into giving them your personal information. They do this by making a website that simulates the look of a real one. But it's fake. One of the best ways to check if a site is real is to make sure the address in your address bar is the same as the site you want to be at. If the address bar starts with, say, some random looking number, or starts with something not the same as the site you want to be at, this might be fake. Phishing! One way to avoid phishing is to not click links in email. Always type in the address for the site you want to use. Be on the watch for phishing. Always double check where you are on the internet when using personal information. Phishing.
All right, I wouldn't use that ordinarily, but it really just, it's so viral. We won't ever forget phishing. So. There was a website that I think probably about 5-6 years ago. Check what the FBI has on you, and it's a form, and they'll do a background check on you quick to see they claim to have access to their records, and they were asking for social security number, date of birth, and real high-end privacy information. And you hit submit, and they'd come back and say there was no record found. That was actually, I think, a test that was being done to see how many people would fall for it. It's kind of like a pre-phishing thing, and they got millions and millions of responses for that. So be very, very careful with what you're doing out there. Okay, let's see. Next slide. Cyberbullying. How many of you had kids that had problems in school with other kids, just regular old bullies? How many of you were bullied? I was bullied in school. Then I became a cop, and now I bully them back. I'm just kidding. I really do. But anyway, so cyberbullying is a big problem. Anywhere you're going to have children, even in our adult life, there's going to be a bully. It's a fact of life, and I have to explain that to my kids all the time. I've got 4 girls. There's bullies in life. There just is. So how do you deal with it? Well, used to be, back in the 70s and the 80s, my dad would say, you pick the biggest one out of the bunch and you whoop his butt, and then you don't have that problem anymore. So after about 3 bloody noses, I came back and said, Dad, that's not working. We're gonna have to do something else here. So, it happens online, and it's easier to do online because children think there's that anonymity. I can do it without getting caught. Well, it's just like anything in the technology world. There's a trail. There's a paper trail for everything with money. There's a digital trail with everything digital. So, if they're out there saying things they shouldn't be saying, to another child, and they're threatening them, not only is it just not right. My mom always taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, right? That's the way it really needs to be. But it's the same on the internet. If you don't have anything nice to say, it's best not to send that flame email or that flame text message and really burn somebody and insult them and hurt their feelings. Plus, it's illegal. Now cyberbullying is actually a criminal offense, and it's also harassing communications and terroristic threatening. So they're both Class A misdemeanors in the Commonwealth. So all I have to do is just walk up to John and make some overt threat to him, either verbally or in texting or in a letter or anything. And I could get in some serious trouble for that.
Does that apply to children as well?
It applies to children as well. That would be a different kind of an offense, but it's a juvenile offense, but it's still a misdemeanor. And it does follow them. It goes through, we have the county attorney for adults, and they have the Department of Juvenile Justice, the court designated worker, who kind of does the same thing. So teach your child to take 5 minutes before posting something. If they get an email or they get some kind of a text message and it's not very nice, and they just have that, well, I'll tell that person. Take 5 and think about it for a minute. Is it really worth replying? Well, that Sally's got big toes anyways. You don't need it. You know what I mean? So whatever. Just take care of it in the home and try to prevent that perpetuation of that problem from continuing. Let's go ahead and roll that video too.
I think everyone's been picked on or bullied at some time.
This torture that like never ends, basically.
They think it's just all fun and games, but really it's not.
Bullying doesn't have to mean physical violence. Teasing, intimidation, and gossip can be just as painful, just as alienating.
When your friends are talking and keeping secrets, it hurts to be left out.
When it happens over and over again, that would definitely be bullying.
When you get bullied, it makes you feel like people just see right through you.
Okay. I think that's pretty plain and simple.
Seemingly anonymous actions online can be just as hurtful as physical violence, just as cruel.
They're just too scared to say it to my face. They pick on you. It's hard to go to school every day because you feel like you can't escape.
They just pretend nothing happened.
Think about your online actions. Remember that the person on the other side could just as easily be you.
When you're on the computer, it's just you alone.
And I think we've heard of those cases where you've seen those teen suicides because they were bullied, right? And probably most of us will sit around going, it's a computer, turn it off, right? I mean, we were thinking that. I was thinking, why would you do something like that because somebody said something online, you know? Well, that's just my inferior mind just not educated enough to say, well, you know, it's a real big problem. And I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I said, you know, this is a problem. This is a really big problem. And because I remember getting picked on in the school bus. I hated the school bus, hated it. I had to drive like 26 miles on the school bus, and we lived out in the county. And it was just horrible. It was the longest ride of my life, and I hated it every day. And I just couldn't imagine having to ride that thing for 6 days out of the week. So, you know, it's the same thing here. Well, this is the digital bus for our children. I mean, their whole life is on there. Think about it. You know, their emails are, their friends are on there. Everything that's going on there, it's all going on all around them, and it's all digital. So there's going to be some pushing and shoving on the superhighway here, okay? And, you know, if your child is upset, or they look recluse, or they're depressed, or something's not right, you know your child. You know your child. If they're not looking right, you need to find out why. Hey, what's going on? You know, well, so-and-so said something online. I'm just, you know, not real happy about it. Well, what happened? This is where the building of the relationship with the parent and child comes into play, okay? So all I can say about cyberbullying is report it if it's a criminal offense. If it's, hey, you know, I'm going to threaten to beat this person up after school or whatever, you need to get us involved, get the police involved. You know, call your local police agency and let them handle it. Most cases, all it takes is, you know, a visit from the police. Now, if you know the other parent, I advocate talking to the other parent. This doesn't happen anymore. We become to where we don't even know where our neighbor is anymore, you know, and I don't want to disconnect from that. You know, if you know the other parent and you say, well, I'm going to go talk to Kelly's father or mother, I'm going to go talk to so-and-so, you know, well, I wish you wouldn't do that. It's just going to make it worse, okay? You have to use good parent judgment here. No manual or instruction manual comes with a child, but you have to do what you think is right. Kids are just getting ever more violent towards each other these days, and it's not getting any better. So, you know, it used to be I would just make a phone call, you know, and that'd be the end of it. So, I guess use your good judgment when it comes to cyberbullying, but know that it is a problem and it does exist. I think awareness is the most important thing here. And then your common sense to solve the problem is where it's at, okay? I think we're all responsible parents and adults in here.